Hi, this is Eric Prystowsky on another segment of EP on EP, and this is really part 3 of my discussion with our current CEO, James Youngblood. James will be retiring at the meeting in May in 2019. And James, what I'd like to talk about, we've talked about the beginning, the growth years, but the future, the headwinds, the growth of the society. Love to get your thoughts on what you think is ahead of us.
Well, if you think about what we've talked about from 2001 forward, we have grown a lot. I mean, if you look at all of the kind of primary indicators, we pretty much doubled the size of the organization. So doubled attendance at scientific sessions, doubled membership from 3,000 to about 6,500 now. So just pretty phenomenal growth and kind of success in every way. We've doubled the size of the budget. So the organization has grown. And I think a big part of that, which has changed the way we think a lot, is the growth on the international side. So the growth outside the U.S. is our biggest growth area right now, primarily Asia, which means that we are much more involved in programs and organizations outside the U.S. than we were at one time, which has opened up a lot of opportunities for us. I think if you start to think about Heart Rhythm being the international and primary source for information in the heart rhythm space, being able to have those connections outside the U.S. really get us a long way in terms of doing that.
So let me follow through on that a little bit and talk about something that's been a change in the last year or two, and that is the ability of industry to support travel, which was very commonplace outside the U.S., as you know, to meetings. I see as a huge headwind, but this is just from my vantage, the future is going to be harder for people to come to the meeting. I think just financially at some of these places, especially some of these underdeveloped countries. What do you think HRS should be doing to reach out to them? We're in a digital age. What do you think should be our role in that?
Well, you're talking about the new policies that make it very difficult for device and pharma companies to provide travel support for physicians outside the U.S., which we saw the impact of that on this year's scientific sessions. I think it is the new reality. I think it will be challenging for many people to afford to come to the U.S. for meetings generally, not just ours. And I think it creates a real opportunity for us to think about how we reach people digitally, to provide education, online education and programs that are as robust as the face-to-face programs. We have very good staff working in this area to help us develop new learning platforms and build new content for the web, so we have a better opportunity to reach out, particularly I think to the folks in Asia. And some of those folks, I mean, there's a huge audience there. Most of those folks will never come to the scientific sessions, have never been and would never come. So I think we have to look at reaching those folks in different ways, more creative ways than what we've done in the past.
So I'm going to follow through on that because, as you know, I do a lot of programming. I do it with HRS, of course, but I do other programming and enjoy that education very much. I've seen in my own sphere this huge push for online material, even blogs, things like that. But blogs run the problem of you're listening to whom. I mean, I occasionally get on HRS's site and I'll say, who is this person who's answering a question for who is that person? They may be great, but I don't know them. But HRS should be the one running that, not just allowing pass-through. So don't you think in the future you're going to have to present a lot of educational material in a simple way? Because not only is it with the changing headwinds that we talked about, I find this younger group of individuals may not want to come to a meeting, rather spend more family time, but we still have to reach them.
Yeah, well, I think first of all, I guess my bias is that the meeting will never go away, that there will always be value, inherent value in people coming together face-to-face and live to interact and network and experience that community that they built over a period of time. But yeah, I completely agree that we have to be able to reach people better digitally. You're talking about blogs. So there's social networking, and blogs are more sophisticated than the typical social networking. Should we control those better? Probably. Is there interest from our members in being more actively involved in those blogs, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
And I actually was thinking more on the structured side of educational programs, the kind of thing that you've done. And we've had some success with podcasts. We haven't talked about the journal at all, and building our presence with the journal. And I think all of that helps, but I think we have a lot of room to grow in that area.
So let's now take it, James Youngblood not retiring in 2019, and I know this isn't fair, but I'm going to pose it anyway. Now I'm on the search committee, let's just say I'm not, and I'm looking for James Youngblood to come in and run the society. I know you've given this thought, and I know that it doesn't matter, you're not going to be the leader after you retire next year. But what advice would you be giving to the new CEO coming in, who hasn't even been selected, at least at the time we're making this online video? So what would you tell him?
Well,
I shouldn't say him.
Exactly. The first thing I think that I would say is kind of don't mess with the culture. I think we spent a lot of time, and when I came, the culture of the organization, NASB, and the community was really strong.
Yes.
People are very passionate about the field and being engaged in the organization. We've translated that to the staff side also, and the culture is really good. And I think I would say whatever you do, build the organization, look to the future, but try to retain that culture because it's really important. And I don't think you should mess with it. I think that you need someone who is a very creative thinker to think about new avenues for revenue, for delivering education, all these things we've been talking about in the future. But I think the other thing that is really critical is, and I do think this was one of my strengths, was you have to know how to get things done. You have to know how to make things happen. You have to honor the relationships that you have with the volunteers and the leadership, and work with them and through them to make things happen. And I think that collegiality, that collaboration is something that has to continue, and I think has been really important in contributing to our growth so far.
So a few challenges for the new CEO. Yes.
I think there will be challenges, absolutely. There are challenges for any CEO.
I know.
It's a tough job, but I think there are good people out there. I am sure we will find someone really good to take the organization forward.
So listen, I'm going to be the first, since this is going to air before anything else, to congratulate you and thank you. I had the pleasure of working with you not only in the American Heart and formed a relationship with you there, but I was the first full-year president with you and learned from your knowledge, and that's helped me my whole career. And the society should know all the stuff you do behind the scenes that's never out there. You've helped really see change in our organization, and I'm going to be the first to thank you very much for an incredible job for all the years you've run our organization. I'm personally sorry to see you stepping down because you've done so much for us, but I know I'll see you in the future, and thank you for running our organization, James.
Well, back to you. Thank you for your partnership and all you did, particularly early on, and for you and the rest of the search committee for giving me the opportunity. It's been an incredible experience.
Well, we made the right choice.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, James.
Thank you.